Aloha and good morning, everyone. It is 9:01 a.m. on Tuesday, November 19, 2024, and I call the Committee on Public Safety meeting to order. In the Council chambers today, I would like to welcome Committee Vice Chair Tolba and Councilmember Tupola. I'd like to excuse Councilmember Dos Santos Tam. Pursuant to Section 92-3.7 Hawaii Revised Statutes, this meeting will be conducted as a remote meeting by interactive conference technology with the following procedures in effect for the meeting. Members of the public will be allowed to provide oral testimony on all items on the agenda in the following order: in person in the council chamber and remotely. In person and remote oral testimony will be allowed when each agenda item is taken up. Before testifying, each person shall state their name for the record. Each speaker will be limited to a 1-minute presentation on each item. All persons who have registered to testify in person will be called upon first. When your name is called, please proceed to the podium. When the timer goes off, please conclude your remarks promptly. Persons who have not registered will be given an opportunity to testify following the registered testifiers. I will then proceed to remote testimony via video conference or phone. When your name is called, please monitor your screen and activate your audio feed when prompted. For those who are joining us by telephone only, I will identify you by the last 3 digits of your phone number. When your number is called, please listen for the prompt to unmute and press *6. Persons who have not registered to testify remotely will be given an opportunity to offer testimony as well. To indicate your desire to speak, please use the raise hand feature in Zoom or press *9 on your telephone. Some friendly reminders and tips: video conference from a quiet location if possible. If you're also watching the proceedings on Olelo, please mute your television at the same time you are called to testify. When the timer on screen reaches 0, please conclude your remarks promptly. HRS Section 92-3.7 requires that all votes at remote meetings be conducted by roll call unless unanimous. Therefore, I will first call for objections, and if there are any, I will call for a roll call vote. I'd like to welcome to the Councilmember Dos Santos Tam. Written testimonies, including the testifier's address, email address, and phone number, will be available to the public as described on the posted agenda. As a courtesy, please turn off all cell phones for the duration of this meeting. Mahalo. Moving to agenda item number 1, Resolution 24-248. This resolution authorizes the use of overt video monitoring in the City and County of Honolulu in West Oahu. Members, we have distributed a hand-carried CD1 OCS 2024-1002/11/18/2024 9:29 a.m. submitted by Councilmember Tupola. I will defer to her to explain her amendments. Good morning, Councilmember Tupola.
Thank you so much, Chair. Yeah, the last time we spoke, we discussed with HPD just minor edits, so we thank District 8, specifically Major Beckley and her division for just being very vigilant in our district, and we want to support them. And this was requested through them, and we're grateful that this overt monitoring device is actually available and ready to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Tupola. And I believe we have with us today Acting Captain Marino Carrera from the Honolulu Police Department, or another member of the Police Department. Would HPD like to come and... Thank you. If you could just state your name to identify yourself.
Brandon Yamamoto, Captain with the Honolulu Police Department.
Thank you. Did you have anything that you wanted to add, or?
We're just in support of this and grateful that it's going through. We thank Councilmember Tupola for the changes that we requested.
Thank you. Members, do we have any questions? Thank you. Seeing no questions, we will now proceed with in-person testimony. Clerks, do we have any registered or non-registered in-person testifiers?
Chair, there are none.
Thank you. We will now proceed with remote testimony. Clerks, do we have any registered or non-registered remote testifiers?
Chair, there are none.
Thank you. Members, we are in discussion. Yes, Councilmember Tupola.
Thank you so much, Chair, for hearing this resolution, and thank you to HPD. With the amendments that we made, this will broaden it to multiple West Side City parks. We know that we need more coverage, we need more eyes, and this is going to be a way for us to be able to use some of this footage surveillance when we need it in high areas where we know that there might be ongoing criminal activity. So I thank you for your support, and I thank the members for their support. Mahalo.
Thank you, Councilmember Tupola. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, the chair recommends that Resolution 24-248 be reported out for adoption. Any further discussion, objections, or reservations? Hearing none, so ordered. Moving to agenda item number 2, Resolution 24-275. This resolution urges the Hawaii State Legislature to adopt legislation that would address criminal street gangs. And with us today, I believe we have Major Braden from the Community Affairs Division of the Honolulu Police Department. Aloha, good morning, Major Braden.
Hello, everybody. I'm Major Braden Ogata from actually the Waikiki Patrol District. That's where I'm from.
Thank you for being with us, Major Braden. If you could just state your position, the department's position, and I can ask members if they have any questions for you.
Now, we appreciate the resolution being presented. Definitely addressing street crimes or street gangs is important, and we would like to see this move forward to the legislature for further discussion.
Thank you, Major Braden. Members, any questions for Major Braden? Seeing none, thank you, Major Braden, for being here. We'll now proceed with in-person testimony. Clerks, do we have any registered or non-registered in-person testifiers?
Chair, there are none.
We'll now proceed with remote testimony. Clerks, do we have any registered or non-registered remote testifiers?
Yes, Chair, we have one standing by.
Okay. Aloha, good morning. I see Angela Melody Young.
Hey, Councilmember Okimoto. Angela Melody Young on behalf of CARES. I really like this resolution. It was very well written. And I like the copy of the draft as well. Okay, I'm going to read from Department of Justice, justice.gov. Again, it's justice, period, G-O-V. And I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to help you process this information. So, street gangs, outlaw motorcycle gangs, or OMGs, or motorcycle clubs, and prison gangs are the primary distributors of illegal drugs on the streets of the United States. Gangs also smuggle drugs into the United States and produce and transport drugs within the country. And the gang members convert cocaine into crack and produce most of the PCP available in the United States. Gangs and OMGs also produce marijuana and methamphetamine and source from foreign supply. So throughout the country, street gangs vary in size, composition, and structure. And also gangs collect millions of dollars per month selling illegal drugs and other things.
Thank you, Angela.
Money. Oh, yes. I was just wondering one thing, Councilmember Okimoto.
Can you say, were you in support or opposition or just comments?
I have one last. I'm in support, but I have one last comment.
Okay, please proceed.
I was just wondering if the council considering talking to the state in a direct manner to propose a copy of the draft so there's no mix-up or assumptions in the communication process if the draft copy is ready.
Thank you for your recommendation, Angela.
Thank you. Okay.
Clerks, we will now proceed. I'm sorry, do we have any further remote testifiers?
Chair, there are none.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Members, we are now in discussion. Councilmember Tupola.
Thank you so much, Chair, and especially thank you to you and your staff for listing this resolution. I am working with all the West Side legislators. We have a new senator, Samantha DeCourt. We have a new representative, Chris Muraoka, and we have Darius Kila. We are working hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, since the last shootings that we've had in July, back-to-back ones and ongoing issues, and I have relentlessly worked to address all of this. There are three things in the crime triangle that I've been trying to address, which is improving the locations where these crimes happen, addressing offenders, and supporting victims. This specific resolution addresses offenders. When we had long talks with not just HPD, but the sheriffs, with law enforcement, it specifically came to light that we are not one of the states that has outlined specific laws against gangs. So there was a working group on youth programs composed of 13 United States, 12 federal agencies that focused on youth communities with gang activities and showed that they are disproportionately affected by theft, negative impact, economic impact, vandalism, assault, gun violence, illegal drug trade, and homicide. The state, although we have laws against some of those activities, does not specifically define criminal street gangs in related terms, nor does it provide for enhanced criminal penalties for gang-related convictions. So I am working with legislators, not just the ones on the west side, but also Chair David Tarnas from the Big Island, who chairs the Judiciary Committee in the House, as well as Carl Rhodes, who chairs it in the Senate. We want to make sure that this gets passed because we need to give these tools to our law enforcement agencies as well as our prosecutors so that we can make sure that there is some light at the end of the tunnel and that these problems will not continue to perpetuate. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Tupola. And thank you for all that you're doing for the community and for our community's safety. Any further discussion, members? Seeing none, the chair recommends that Resolution 24-275 be reported out for adoption. Any further discussion, objections, or reservations? Hearing none, so ordered. Moving on to agenda item number 3, Resolution 24-276. This resolution authorizes the Chief of Police of the Honolulu Police Department to apply for and to enter into an agreement with the Bureau of Justice Assistance, U.S. Department of Justice, for funds from the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program, fiscal year 2024 local solicitation. And with us today, I believe we have Major Elgin Arquero from the Finance Division of the Honolulu Police Department. Forgive me if I pronounce your name incorrectly.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, Council members. My name is Elgin Arquero. I'm a major with the Honolulu Police Department's Finance Division and in support of Resolution 24-276.
Thank you, Major Arquero. Members, any questions for the Major? Yes, Councilmember Dos Santos Tam.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate this funding. I'm looking through the resolution and trying to figure out exactly what this funding provides. It seems fairly broad. I was wondering if you could point to sort of specific examples of programs that this money would specifically go to.
Of course. Thank you for that question. Internally, there's different elements that apply for specific programs, such as enforcing narcotics crimes, increasing funding for trainings for better digital evidence recovery, also for certain types of equipment that is not available through regular funding, but things that we can pilot to see if we want to add that to our operating budget. There are some specific applications for projects such as DARE and to procure some UTVs for Chinatown. And a personal one for my division, we want to look for software so that it can help us more efficiently apply for additional grants for the future.
Oh, great. Sounds good.
Thank you, Major. Could you repeat, you mentioned in the beginning of your statement some sort of training. It was to fund. What kind of training was that again?
Without going into specifics of the exact training, because some of these are for covert trainings, some are for our intelligence units, and for the Chinatown UTV, it's trainings to be certified in operating the UTVs as a police vehicle.
Okay, thank you. I heard training. I want to make sure I heard that correctly. Thank you, members. Any further questions for the Major? Thank you, Major.
Thank you.
We'll now proceed with in-person testimony. Clerks, do we have any registered or non-registered in-person testifiers?
Chair, there are none.
Thank you. We will now proceed with remote testimony. Clerks, do we have any registered or non-registered remote testifiers?
Chair, there are none.
Members, we are in discussion. Seeing no further discussion, the chair recommends that Resolution 24-276 be reported out for adoption. Any discussion, objections, or reservations? Hearing none, so ordered. Moving on to agenda item number 4, Resolution 24-272. This resolution requests the city administration to establish a task force to explore the integration of the Emergency Medical Services Program into the Honolulu Fire Department. And with us today, I believe we have, and correct me if I'm wrong, we have Corey K. Chalk, Assistant Chief from the Honolulu Emergency Services, Shane N. Wright, Information Specialist from our Honolulu Emergency Services, and Battalion Chief, Fire Chief Pao Chi Wang from the Honolulu Fire Department. Good morning.
Good morning, Council Chair, Council members. Corey Chalk, Assistant Chief, Honolulu EMS. Dr. Ireland sends his apologies as he couldn't make the meeting this morning. We would like to stand in support of anything that's going to improve the services of EMS statewide on Oahu. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, do we have any questions for Assistant Chief Chalk? I had a couple of questions, if that's okay, Assistant Chief. And I know that this varies day by day and week to week, but on the average, or maybe you can tell me how many units were closed over the weekend?
It varies.
Do you have an account of this past weekend?
I do not have those numbers with me right now.
Do you know how many units are closed today?
I don't believe any units are closed today.
No units are closed today, but on average, what is the highest number, or what's the highest number of units that will be closed at any time?
I think the highest, and don't quote me, the highest closures we had at one time were maybe 7 units in a 24-hour period.
7 units, okay. And did you have any knowledge of where these units are being closed? What part of the island?
We try to look at different units around the island that's not going to have a big impact on the service that's provided. So that's how our operations will look into the closures.
How do you determine which units will not be the most impacted?
We look at the distance between multiple units, like in the town area. If there's 5 units in a town area and we can afford to close one of those units versus an outlying unit like in the country, we'll look at closing those units where there's more resources to cover that area.
So the more rural areas, you said you have more resources to cover?
We have less resources, so those units are less likely to be closed.
Okay. So usually those units, let's say on the west side or North Shore or Waimanalo, those ones are not the ones impacted?
They will be impacted, but we're going to look at impacting the units or the areas where there's more coverage first.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Assistant Chief Chalk. Members, any further discussion? Okay. The Battalion Chief Pao Chi Wang. Oh, hello. We have our Fire Chief with us. Good morning, Chief Hao.
Good morning, Chair Okimoto, Vice Chair Taubo, council members, Kalani Hao, Fire Chief of the Honolulu Fire Department. Again, as Assistant Chief Chalk stated, that we are in support of any type of measure that's going to provide better services to the community, whether it's through a task force or I guess anything. We should look at any kind of measures that would improve the services, as we all are customers to receive. So as far as the task force, we'll be a willing contributor if that's the case and a task force is formed. And, maybe we have some concerns on how that may affect our operations, but I guess through the task force, that's what the working group would possibly do and, address budgetary issues, staffing, labor issues, and that's just some things that we need to explore to provide better services to the community, what they need, so.
Thank you, Chief Hao. Members, do we have any questions for our Fire Chief Hao? Seeing none, thank you. We'll now proceed with in-person testimony. Clerks, do we have any registered or non-registered in-person testifiers?
Yes, Chair, we have one registered.
Okay, I'd like to welcome to the chamber Aaron Lanchanko from HFFA. Aloha, good morning.
Good morning, City Council members and Chairman Okimoto. My name is Aaron Linchenko. I'm the Secretary Treasurer for the Hawaii Firefighters Association, and I'm also an active duty fire captain with 30 years of service for HFD. HFFA rises to support Resolution 24272 to establish a task force to explore the integration of EMS into HFD. We believe that this consolidation will create a stronger, more resilient, and efficient service, delivering immediate emergency care that would save lives. Thank you for your time, and I'm open for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Lanchanko. Members, do we have any questions for Mr. Lanchanko? I had a quick question. You mentioned that it was 30, and I know the testimony also stated for the past 30 years.
Correct.
What happened, if you could give a quick summary of what's transpired back then versus now? Because the last report, I believe, was in 2012. So what's made the difference between 30 years ago till now? Or what have you seen?
As far as an advancement in EMS,
Correct.
nothing.
And how has that?
This as a caveat. My wife is a paramedic. She's a unit supervisor, and she has 25 years in EMS. And this has been a struggling problem ever since. I've been in the department before me, and it continues. The reality is EMS is underpaid and overworked, and we got to look for a solution so that we can save lives out there for our community.
Thank you, and thank you for sharing, and thank you for all that you and your wife are doing. Members, I actually had a question for, I'll go back to that actually. I had a question for Chief Hao at the end of the testimony, based on the last testifier. Clerks, do we have any other in-person testifiers?
Chair, there are none.
Okay. Seeing none, we will now proceed with remote testimony. Clerks, do we have any registered or non-registered remote testifiers?
Yes, Chair, we have some standing by.
Okay. I'd like to start with Mr. Edward Fujioka. If you could unmute and state your name for the record.
Aloha, good morning. I'm Eddie Fujioka. I'm a retired EMS district chief. I have 45 years of service in EMS. Since the day I started, we could never fill all the vacancies in EMS. So that's 45 years of an agency not being able to fill their staffing issues. And it's gotten worse recently. Chief Chalk is right. The most we close is about 7 units in a day. And the current delivery of service for EMS is unsustainable. So I'm in full support of Resolution 24272 to form the task force to look at a solution. I know there's many people who testified in support, so I won't repeat everything they said, but I've submitted written testimony and I'll stand by that testimony. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Fujioka. Members, do we have any questions for the testifier? I had a quick question, Mr. Fujioka.
Yeah. Yes.
You mentioned that you had been in the department. Could you repeat to me how long you had been serving as an EMS? You said you're a paramedic. Is that correct?
Yes, 45 years I've been involved with EMS. I actually started as a college student summer hire. Went to school to be an EMT, a medic, got promoted, went up the ranks. I ended my service as a district chief assigned to administration, running special projects. Some of the projects included a migration to the JTMC, management of COVID, getting funding for a backup radio communication system called Catalyst, something that EMS has struggled to obtain, but we were able to do that. And also worked on a timekeeping software for EMS.
Thank you. If you don't mind informing, when did you retire? What year did you retire from the department?
I retired July of 2022. I also supervise the scheduling and staffing of personnel.
So that was just a couple of years ago that you stopped working in the department post-COVID. And in your 45 years, did you see any change, or did the closures, did it fluctuate? Is it, you said it's the same as it was when you were there. Was that the norm for it to be up to 7 units, anywhere between 1 to 7 closed?
Yeah, the closure of units began somewhere, I could be mistaken, but somewhere around 2020, 2021. And part of it is due to our schedule. We're currently on a 12-hour schedule. Previous to that, EMS was under an 8-hour schedule. So when we had no relief for the oncoming crew, the staff on shift was notified that they got what we call stuck. So it was forced overtime. With a 12-hour shift, we cannot do that any longer. According to the union contract, we can only allow them to stay another 4 hours and then release them. So that plays a major part in unit closures.
So you're saying prior to the 12-hour shifts when you were 8 hours, someone could get stuck for a second 8-hour shift? Is that correct? So 16 hours total versus the 12?
Correct. And it was very difficult to do because people have plans, they get tired. Some people have been forced to work 16-hour shifts 2 or 3 days in a row, and they're just exhausted and they end up calling in sick, which just snowballs it or moves it on to the next shift.
And what was the morale in your experience at that time of the department and the paramedics and EMTs?
The forced overtime played a major part, and part of it is what we noticed was the people who are getting stuck were at the same unit, and it was occurring on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. The outlying units, which is the country units that have lower volume of calls, the unplanned leave was very low. So those units were able to remain open. People came to work, but the town units, because of the high volume of calls and not being able to create more stations to divide up the call volume, is a major factor in burnout, the well-being of our medics, and if eventually affects morale. Before I left, I had a sit down with our previous director, and he asked me, Eddie, what one thing can we do for our personnel to boost morale? And we had a short discussion, and we really couldn't come up with an answer. But after I retired, I think part of what affects our medic is their overall well-being. We don't have a program to help them deal with the stress of the job they do. And an example I will give is every fire station has a weight room or fitness room, and they have PT every day they're on duty. EMS has none of that. No station even has a bike for our medics to ride to relieve stress, to improve their overall health. That's just one example.
Thank you. I did have a couple of more questions based on what you've been sharing with us, and I appreciate you. And I was able to read the testimonies. There were 44 in support, and a lot of them were either current or former EMS employees. So thank you for those who did submit, and thank you for being here. I did wonder when you talked about, I asked about the morale, and a lot of the testifiers talked about the fatigue and feeling overworked. Has that, in your experience, impacted that type of service that was then provided to the public? We have closures, we have overworked employees. How did that affect the product that was in, or the service that was then provided to the public, the response times and or the services that were then required to help those in need?
I honestly believe that our medics are dedicated to their job. So even though we have perhaps 5 units closed, and as soon as they drop off the patient, dispatch is telling them, hey, I have another call pending, let me know when you're available. They'll probably take a deep breath and they'll still go on the call because our patients come first. We never know what's on the other end. It could be a family member. It could be your neighbor. Um, it could delay response times. It probably did. But as far as the patient care, I don't believe it affected it that much. I think our medics and EMTs are very dedicated to their job.
Thank you. And final question. In the past, you had mentioned that you had been approached and, things that could be addressed or to improve the situation. Why is it that this hasn't been, I know it's been brought up before, but why hasn't it progressed or been able to be addressed in the past? What has stopped it from happening in your experience?
You mean the unit closures or?
Sorry, the addressing of the merger or a different I guess, solution to the deficiencies or the struggles in the department with the unit closures and the morale and overworking and everything. Why has this merger has been a topic brought up decades ago. Why did it not happen in the past?
Right. So I can recall 2 previous attempts at EMS fire merger. So when I first started, we were completely different because back then, for fire service, fire suppression was the priority for firefighters. So totally understandable. As time moved on and trends across the United States, human preservation became number one, and fire suppression was secondary. And that's evident in the number of EMS calls Honolulu Fire has to go on today. And that's the structure, the chain of survival, right? Get the closest first responders to the patient side as fast as you can. So the first attempt at the merger, it was a flat out take EMS personnel, move them over to fire. They had to go to the fire academy. If they didn't cross-train, their jobs potentially were in danger. So it affected a lot of the women in EMS. They were afraid that they could lose their jobs, and rightfully so. There was not enough thought about the merger. The last merger, fire commissioned a consultant to study the merger, and it was pretty much one-sided because the consultant actually came from the National Fire Chiefs Association. So what they had planned to do was open 6 ALS units, but they were going to take money from the EMS budget to open those 6 units. So that kind of failed because of how they were going to manage the budget. So the common link between those two were that they didn't study or do a correct assessment on whether or not it's feasible. That's why this resolution forming the task force is an important step in this process. And I think forming this task force would help in a successful migration of the 2 services. But I also wanted to mention that perhaps you can amend this resolution to include retired firefighters and EMS personnel. I think the same thing happened with Ocean Safety Task Force. There were retired ocean safety lifeguards who could give the input with the experience that they've had.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your input. With your years of service, I really value not just the years that you've been in the department, I had been in the department, but the experience that you can share, because it helps us as we move further and make the decisions. So thank you for doing that and being here. Members, do we have any further questions for this testifier? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, do we have any other remote testifiers?
Yes, Chair, we have one standing by.
Okay. Aloha. I see a hand raised by Angela Melody Young.
Hello, Councilmember Okimoto. Very good questions. And also, funding for the staff is very important. perhaps staff vacancy, maybe because staff has to risk their life performing emergency response, and sometimes the pressure of work is a lot. So these things should be for consideration. To integrate work procedures because of errors revealed in emergency response actions of the departments of the counties and state system. So how can the emergency management teams help each other out to discuss how to save on resources? And with discussions at the state of newly enacted mandates such as trauma-informed care, crisis intervention training, response teams and responsible administrative offices should consider integrating by opening lines of communication with this task force to understand each other. And also newly enacted mandates from July 2024 at the closing of this year's season, there's a need to integrate the legislations to enact effectively. For example, CORE deals with homeless people. How do you navigate them away from incarceration and into healthcare services, right? This has to do with the gang legislation to not criminalize them. Thank you.
Thank you. In support? Yes, okay, I will take that as in support. Okay, members, do we have any questions for the testifier?
In support. Thank you.
Thank you.
They muted.
Okay, thank you. Members, seeing no further testimonies, we are in discussion. I did have one quick question for Chief Hao. Thank you again for being here, Chief Hao. Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I'm really grateful for the input that was given from the retired EMS employee. I did ask Assistant Chief Chalk about how it impacts them with the closures. How does it impact the fire department when ambulances are closed down, or just in general? And I do this because from personal experience, I had to have a home call once with one of my daughters. We called 911. Fire came first, and then they had to wait. I think we waited about 20 minutes before EMS was able to come to the home. And so I know that from experience that many times the fire department is the one that has to address, they're the first responders. So how does this, the response time or the units closed or any of that impact your men and women, because now you guys are waiting, you're having to go to the home and wait there for EMS to come? How does it impact you guys?
That is correct. During high call volume times and or when units are out of service, EMS units, I don't have the statistics basically on how often it happens and how long, but we do hear of in our field some long wait times. Again, and our personnel will co-respond. We have a memorandum of agreement with EMS to respond to certain types of medical calls, in which we do, but it does negatively impact with longer wait times.
And if, thank you for answering that, and if one of your units is waiting there and there's another call that comes out, they can't leave until the EMS comes?
That is correct.
Okay, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chief Howell. Okay. Oh, Councilmember Tupola, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you, Chair. I think we've heard on and on, even in the budget hearings, that they're just bleeding out. So I think if we don't do something, then we're going to be in a sore situation and it'll be too late. So thank you for this resolution, and I hope that there is something good and a report that's actionable out of the task force so that perhaps this coming year we can take some new steps forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Tupola. Members, okay. Seeing no further questions or discussion, I would like to second, everything that's been shared. I think all of us, as we stated, if it's on our family, our friends, or someone that we love that has to make a 911 call at some point, this will affect us. So I just want to thank everyone who came out today. Thank you for Chief Howell and your assistant chiefs for being here, as well as EMS for being here. I know that this has been a discussion that's been shared for decades now, and I'm just extremely grateful and honored to be able to have this opportunity to talk about it. I've not been shy about it since I've been in office. I've talked about, I grew up as the daughter of a first responder, so I know firsthand what our first responders have to deal with every day. And so whatever I can do to help not just make our communities safe, but address the needs of our first responders, that's what I'm trying to do. As the fire chief and EMS said, we're always looking for ways to improve our city services, especially critical services, life-saving services, based on the testimonies that were submitted. There were lots of testimonies, really good ones submitted. Some have contacted me personally. I appreciate that. And those who were shared today, I've met with my community and its members, and it does appear that we have lots of improvements that can be and need to be made in this critical service. And I believe that the formation of this task force is probably long overdue, but is a key step in addressing the needs of our community. So I want to thank you all. And as we move forward, I hope that we can continue to have constructive and positive, but also important discussions to see. There's, like Chief Hotwa said, it's not going to be an easy thing, but anything that's worth it will take effort and struggles, but to get the right output is what we're looking for. So I appreciate all of the input that's been provided today. And with that being said, I would like to ask, I've asked this repeatedly, but if it would be really helpful if both HFD and EMS could start keeping track of how many closures are happening, how it's impacting both departments, both fire and EMS. And I think that's probably something essential in the task force as well, as we move forward to make the best decisions. Seeing no further discussion, the chair recommends that Resolution 24-272 be reported out for adoption. Any further discussion, objections, or reservations? Hearing none, so ordered.
Chair, at the appropriate time, either now or at the end of your agenda, I just wanted to see if we could circle back to the gang legislation and make sure that we amended it to the CD. Okay. But sure, we can do it later too.
Actually, I'll take a quick recess right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Chair's recess. Thank you. At 9:48, I call the Committee on Public Safety meeting to order. Councilmember Tupola.
Thank you so much, Chair. I move to make a motion to reconsider action on a previous agenda item, Resolution 24248.
Thank you. Members, motion to move.
Second, to the
Okay,
extent that it
thank
needs
you.
a second.
Okay. So members, we are now in consideration. Any further discussion to reconsider? Objections or reservations? Seeing none, motion is reconsidered. Thank you. The chair then recommends that Resolution 24-248 be amended to the hand-carried CD1 OCS 2024-1002/11/18/2024 at 9:29 a.m. Any discussion, objections, or reservations on the amendment? Hearing none, the resolution has been amended to a CD1. The chair then recommends that Resolution 24-248 CD1 be reported out for adoption. Any further discussion, objections, or reservations? Hearing none, so ordered. Thank you, Councilmember Tupola. Members, we will now proceed to agenda item number 4. I'm sorry, correct me. The agenda item number 5. Bill 55, 2024, CD1. This bill relates to the adoption of the 2021 State Fire Code. Members, we have posted to the agenda 2 proposed CD2 versions of the bill. For your information, summaries of the amendments are listed on the agenda. Number 1, VO3 OCS 2024-099/11/13/2024 12:53 p.m. and number 2, VO2 OCS 2024-0983/11/13/2024 12:10 p.m. Members, we have also distributed related departmental communication 795-2024 submitted by the Honolulu Fire Department. And with us today, we have Battalion Chief Pao Chi Wang from the Honolulu Fire Department. Aloha and good morning, Battalion Chief Wang.
Good morning, Committee Chair Okimoto, Vice Chair Tolba, and committee members. I'm Battalion Chief Pao Chi Wang with the Honolulu Fire Department. The Fire Department would like to thank Committee Chair Okimoto's staff for assisting us with this CD2 draft with the changes that we've agreed upon for Bill 55. To that end, I believe we resolved a lot of the issues brought up by the committee members in the last public safety meeting. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Members, do we have any questions for Battalion Chief Wang? I had a couple of questions, Battalion Chief. And I had asked this in the previous hearing that we had related to the Fire Plans Review Revolving Fund. Do you know why the fees collected by the FPRRF are deemed appropriated upon receipt as opposed to going through the standard budget process?
I do not have an answer for that question. This was set up approximately about a decade ago. I can get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you. I see, Chief Howell, okay. I had subsequent questions. I know I need to ask because what I am trying to figure out is if you can describe how these monies from the FPRRF are expended for fire prevention activities.
Absolutely. So I am the Battalion Chief for the Fire Prevention Bureau. This Plans Review Revolving Fund has been used for exactly how it's stated in the fire code. So it allows us to we use these funds for public education, fire investigations, plans checking, permit processing, fire inspections, and certifications. So this fund has actually allowed us to broaden the reach of, for instance, for public education, it has allowed us to broaden the reach of our public information office. It has allowed us to increase personnel, allowed us to do additional PSAs. From the mayor's directive, we've broadened our social media outreach to communicate to the public better, and even worked on more timely news releases. So it's been very impactful for our program. It also helped our community outreach programs. It has helped fund our HFD museum, where we teach community CPR, promote fire safety, as well as teaching the history of the Honolulu Fire Department. We have other programs, community outreach programs, such as the Fire Explorers programs, that we teach young people in our community about firefighting as a career. As far as fire investigations, this fund has assisted us to purchase the necessary tools to help our fire investigators, such things like creating a live, this has funded a live fire prop to study fire behavior and how it relates to investigations. It has assisted us with funding a K9 program where we have an accelerant detection dog. And in the future, we're hoping you'll assist us with purchasing a fire investigator response vehicle, because the current one is aging, and so we're looking to do that. As far as plans checking, due to the increased population and the amount of plans that's going through DPP, we've seen an increase in the plans that we review. This fund has been instrumental. We've been able to increase the staffing in my plans checking section to accommodate for the increased plans checking that they have to do for permit processing. Again, this fund has been instrumental to help us increase support staff due to the large number of tank permits, the assembly permits, firework permits, and the check processing and bookkeeping staff that we required of this.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was going to ask you what types of things, and you gave a broad, a very, you have a long list of things that it's being used for. So just so I understand, is a FPRRF used to fund salaries, or is it just used for equipment and current expenses? And
it is used for equipment. It is used for the salaries of contract workers. As it is used for some overtime to supplement some of the things that we need to do in the Fire Prevention Bureau.
And so the overtime salaries and other contract workers, these are related to fire prevention?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. We are very careful to use this fund according to the fire code. We always work hand in hand with HFD Core Council and BFS. Everything goes through BFS, and so we're always working with them to make sure we're doing things right.
Okay. And what types of contract workers? You mentioned contract workers. What types of contract workers would the department be hiring?
Yeah.
For what types of services?
We have contract workers that do things like COF, Certificate of Fitness. So we have contract workers that will go out to make sure that the private companies out there that check fire protection systems out there are doing it to spec and doing it adequately. So we hire contract workers to do that. We hire contract workers as administrative staff to assist with tank permits and assembly permits, fireworks, and also just check everyday administrative work such as check processing and bookkeeping. We also have pay the salaries for contractors to assist the PIO staff to assist with as a media liaison and to help us draft to assist us with community outreach. I don't have a list in front of me, but typically these are people that have to fit in what the fire code stipulates for this fund. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Battalion Chief Wang. Members, do we have any further questions for Battalion Chief? Seeing none, thank you.
I'm sorry, I just want to clarify. You had mentioned there are 2 drafts, and my question was, which version are we here to pass? Because there was the version where it had the timestamp of 12:53, had all the changes that we had talked about. The second one, which is timestamped as 12:10, had an additional change that we were unaware of. And so our question was, which one was being proposed today?
Well, the discussion, so we had worked with Councilmember Tupola's office. Thank you, Councilmember Tupola, for working so diligently on this measure to make sure that we incorporate the things that were both from the department, but also that Councilmember Tupola had in her measure. We wanted to consolidate it and make it into one location, one measure. And the second CD2 came from my office because I did have concerns about this one fund and the way it's appropriated and allocated. So this would just remove, as we discussed, provide technical amendments, but also remove this automatic appropriations of the fire plans review fees. My concern is that this arrangement falls outside of the normal budgeting process, and it's concerning to me as it relates to taxpayer dollars. So I understand that I'm not trying to take away that measure, but just removing this arrangement where after the time it just goes back into the budget. It's not accounted for. That's why I asked you, what is the accounting, how does the department account for it?
As I understand, this fund is always accounted for when the fire chief gives a revenue, the budget workbook presentation.
Well, that's what the question I asked you in the last hearing, and I gave you the specific numbers, and so that's what I was wondering. If you guys have that and we can't see it, please feel free to enlighten me.
Thank you again, Fire Chief Howell. As Lieutenant Chief Wang stated, that we do on our annual budget present it as revenue. But as far as how it's set up from what it was 10 years ago and how BFS structured it, that's how it was allocated to us. And again, we just on an annual basis present that in our annual budget review.
Okay. Yeah, and thank you for sharing. Again, my intention was to just have it be clear and transparent as to what happens with the funds. If it's being used appropriately, then we have no concerns. But right now, there's no accounting of it in the workbooks, and that's what I think the pages I had asked Battalion Chief Wang about in the previous hearing. So that last, I guess, the third draft, the second CD from my office came from. That's the purpose of it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Members, any questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll now proceed with in-person testimony. Clerks, do we have any registered or non-registered in-person testifiers?
Chair, there are none.
Thank you. We'll now proceed with remote testimony. Clerks, do we have any registered or non-registered remote testifiers?
Yes, Chair, we have one standing by.
Aloha, good morning, Angela.
Hello, Councilmember Okimoto and the City Council. Angela Melody Young testifying on behalf of CARES. I'd like to support the fire code and also refer to data points from Act 199 from 2023 from Senator Fukunaga, Rhodes, Chang, and Moriwaki. And so the purpose of the measure is to require condos to include the estimated cost of fire safety equipment or installations as an annual update for what's called a reserve study. So the study generates a funding plan for the things that you're going to implement in the fire code for the condo associations. The money's saved over a long period of time to prepare for condos' major funding repairs and renovations. Studies are sometimes poorly conducted, outdated, overdue, or ignored by the association's board, but necessary financial choices such as increasing fees or special assessments are required to keep an association physically sound. So the study forecasts a loan or special assessments to fund the life safety equipment and installations of the necessary fire equipment. Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And maybe you guys should talk to Fukunaga about it.
Thank you for your testimony. Members, do we have any questions for the testifier? Seeing none and seeing no further testifiers, members, we are in discussion. Councilmember Tupola.
Yeah, thank you. Chair, I just want to thank you for incorporating those changes. And those are from Bill 62, of which we will not be pushing that forward so that we can just touch the fire code one time. We did work with HFD previous to this year to find those amendments, as well as condo homeowners, AOAs, so that we can come to a conclusion on what would be best for fire safety in some of these buildings, whether new, whether old. We want there to be safety and whatever that looks like. And we do have other accompanying bills that we think will help these buildings with some potential costs. So we know that it's costly, but we want to make sure that it's in a way that we can still comply with the law. So we thank you for incorporating those. And of course, thank you to HFD for the work.
Thank you, Councilmember Tupola. Members seeing no further discussion, the chair recommends that Bill 55, 2024, CD1 be amended to the posted CD2, VO3 OCS 2024-0994 /11/13/2024, 12:53 p.m. Any discussion, objections, or reservations? Hearing none, the bill has been amended to the CD2. The chair then recommends that Bill 55, 2022, CD2 be reported out for passage on third reading. I'm sorry. The chair then recommends that Bill 55, 2024, CD2 be reported out for passage on third reading. Any discussion, objections, or reservations? Hearing none, so ordered. Thank you, Kyle. This brings us to the end of our agenda today. Mahalo everyone for being here and for your participation. There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.